with the first one. Oh.
I've invited Liv up. I've invited Liv up to be part of this panel. Can we make her feel welcome? Looking forward to what she has to contribute. Yeah.
Awesome. First question. How do you still be complementary as female if circumstances mean you need to manage everything yourself, e.g. You're single, you're working full-time, or a single mum?
Do you have thoughts?
It's a great question. I think, as Toby's been pointing out, there are complementary differences in the way we're made as men and women that exist outside of the marriage relationship. I think they exist in all of our relationships. And so it's a very valid question. How do we operate in the world as single women or as widows or as single mothers? And I think there are a couple of things to say there. The first is that the Bible is not tone deaf to this situation or emotionally unintelligent in this kind of circumstance, because it makes real provision for things like widows, for example. The Bible is very concerned about widows and women who might need extra support or help or resource. And so for the single women here, I'd love to encourage you to see the people in this room the way God sees the people in this room, which is as your family, as your brothers and as your fathers and as your sisters. And in that sense, the complementarity that you might see existing in a husband and wife relationship, we also really want to see part of that existing in our church family as well. As brothers get alongside sisters, as our spiritual fathers get alongside their daughters in the faith, so to speak. And I think in that respect, no single woman, no widow, no single mother should ever feel like they're doing it alone in the church, because God has given us to one another. We belong to one another.
That's good. That's good. Next question. If men and women are to dress differently or look different, like in 1 Corinthians, then where do you draw the line? Can women have short hair? Women can't dress in a masculine way?
So the great thing here is that the Bible doesn't prescribe that. And so God isn't micromanaging us down to that level. What he wants is actually something more profound, which is a change of your heart and your attitude, which would then impact how you dress. And so I don't know, I can't answer that question, but what are you showing up to as you display yourself to the world? Do you display, I'm so glad about the way God made me and I trust his design for me, that I'm not going to obscure that, I'm going to rest into that and display that? Or do you rather, is your attitude, gender's irrelevant, and that will express itself in the way you wear. So the key is not to think so much in what the particular thing is. What was it? Short hair or something like that. But where is your heart at? And I think that's it. Yeah.
Can I read a helpful quote from this book? I brought this up just in case, and I'm glad I did because I couldn't remember this on the top of my head. But I've just finished this book called Motherhood by Jocelyn Lone, and she has this really great section about what it means to be gendered, essentially. And she says here, to think that being a woman or a man consists entirely of a set of characteristics is unhelpful. If you were born female, then you are a woman, according to the Bible. Everything you do is as a woman. It's not something you put on. It is simply essential to how you're created. You don't have to tie yourself in knots working out what it'll look like. In reality, being a woman and a mother look like a whole variety of different ways, because God didn't make all women from one cookie-cutter mold. He made you, and he made you a woman. As we think about raising our children as boys or girls, we don't need to stipulate which characteristics or what outfits belong to which sex or internalize some sort of prescribed list. Rather, I think what's most helpful is simply to know who you are, a man or a woman, by God's good design, and rejoice that he made you so. She goes on to speak about how she helps her children see that she is glad that she's a woman.
Yeah.
What if you just really don't like your body, or you have a disordered eating, compulsive exercise, but you still love God?
Yeah.
Put those things together.
The great thing is that the Bible recognises that's part of what it looks like to be a human. So I didn't get time to quote this, but in Romans 8 it says that our bodies are groaning, waiting for the redemption that will come on the last day, because we have been created, but our bodies are now part of the fallen, broken world we live in. And that means we sometimes do feel alienated from our bodies. So Christians should be the first to be most sympathetic to those who feel like, whose gender feels incongruent with their biological sex, because the Bible leads us to expect that is what would happen in a world that's broken and awaiting for the redemption of Jesus. So God's very sensitive to it, but he does say, trust me, I've put you in this body, come to learn to accept that which I accept and which I love. And that's what this whole series is designed to do, that we are to love the bodies and not to allow our lives to be fragmented between the me and this shell. This shell really matters. It's not just a shell, it's you. And so you're to love it. But that's hard to cultivate. Yeah.
Yeah, helpful that actually we expect some kind of groaning, even though as we try to love our bodies, it's not perfect. Yeah.
I think I wrote a question for the community group studies which got cut off by someone who was editing, which was share around the circle how you feel about your body and which part of your body you feel you hate the most. And someone says, Toby, that is a terrible question. Who's going to share that? But I thought it's a good question because it's honest. But I do understand that it's too sensitive to share in a community group.
Yeah. Toby, this person says, great sermon. How would you encourage the church to love your brothers and sisters like family when everyone is so busy? What's your pastor's vision? Oh, both of you.
Yeah. Well, there are habits and rhythms that we have in life, and you can't be in... This is where I started. You are created. You have limitations. You can't be in more than one place at any one time, which is part of the problem with social media, because you're constantly being pinned about what's happening all over the world right now as you listen to this. And part of being a wise human being embodied means working hard against the tug of social media and your phones pulling you and training you to think that you could be omnipresent. You can't be omnipresent. You've got to be in one place at one time. And there are a couple of times in every week where you need to be together. And that's what Sundays are. It's why it's so important to be here. It's why our community groups are so important. And these rhythms, if you just show up and attend to people when you're here, you will have the opportunity to love each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. But if you don't give yourself to those moments of presence, you'll be left asking yourself questions like that.
I think as well, taking the opportunities as they come to treat each other like family. So praying for one another, reading the Bible together. When we walk into the church doors, this is an environment. It is a place where we can actually have real spiritual conversations. It's hard to kind of plan or imagine them outside the church in our day-to-day life. But in the church, we actually can ask one another big, true, meaningful questions because we're a body and we're a family. So I would love for us to get into the habit. Like I spoke to my brother this morning, actually. He's in San Francisco right now. And I could have spent the 40 minutes on FaceTime just chatting on surface level, but he's my brother. So I went straight to the big questions quickly because I care about him, I love him, I'm invested in him, and we have a sense of responsibility and familiarity to one another that means we can talk deep quick. And so I'd love to encourage us as a church family to take that kind of initiative and responsibility for one another. This is the place in the whole of the world where we can have those conversations because we belong to one another, because we're family. So it's going to be weird at first. It'll be hard at first. It'll be a bit awkward at first. But it's why time together and asking each other good questions is so important.
Awesome. Last question. Does God only refer to, in quotes, himself in male masculine terms in the Bible, and if so, why?
Yes, he does. His preferred pronouns are he, him. And in a culture where that's important, we need to pay attention to the way God's revealed himself as he, him. But he does not have a sex. He's spirit. He's not flesh. He has no penis. He has no male gonads. His DNA is not, his chromosomes are not XY. So in some sense, he's not male, because male is our sex, but he does refer to himself as gendered, he, him. And I spent a bit of time trying to work through that this week, and I don't know where I've landed, apart from just believing. That's how he's revealed himself. I should accept that. He does reveal himself as Father, and he's the Father from whom all earthly fatherhood comes. And what that means is, it wasn't like he was looking for an illustration. Oh, how do I relate to these guys? What's the best human illustration I can come up with which demonstrates who I am? No, it's the other way around. He is Father, essentially, he is Father of the Son, Spirit's bond of peace between them. That's who he is. And as he creates, he also creates human fatherhood, which is patterned off that. So fundamentally, he's Father, which is gendered but not sexed. Jesus comes as a man. And I don't know fully how to make sense of it. Do you?
I can say, though, that God, as a father, is not embarrassed or unafraid about describing his care or his love or his character in also some motherly terms. It doesn't mean his mother, but it does mean that he tends to his people like a mother tends to her nursing children, or he gathers up his people like a hen gathers her chicks. So God's not embarrassed.
They're always metaphors describing his mother-like qualities.
Yeah.
But they're always like.
That's right. He's not describing himself as mother, like he has portrayed himself, his father, but he's not afraid of or embarrassed about using kind of female imagery to describe his love and care for his people.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all the time we have for. Can we thank Toby and Liv? If you've got any other questions,